Hello again. It's time, finally time. What has been like the thing I looked forward to the most. I've done over 100 games on Magnus's games, and it's finally time. He's gotten to the World Championship match against Viswanathan. So let's look some about that first. Here is some history here about Anand against Carlsen in Chennai, India. Some people say it was bad for Anand to play in India because India is a very proud and nationalistic country. So they were very, very proud of Vichy, that he from such a humble beginnings, like being like it was like this. If you've seen this movie, forgot exactly what it's called, but it's about an Indian kid who's playing this TV show game who wants to be a millionaire. And I won't spoil everything, but basically the story is that this guy is being quite lucky in having a good, very, very good memory. So he remembers stuff that happens before in his life, and that will help him to solve the questions. And I don't know, but when I see this movie, I always think about Vichy. Vichy, I don't think he must have an extremely good memory, like the kid in that movie, and remember a lot of chess games and chess moves, and because he managed to come from like nothing in a country where there were like no good chess players at all, and it's, in my opinion, even more remarkable than Fischer. They say like Fischer, he's the first American, but Fischer still had normal parents, and he went to the chess club in Manhattan and so on, where there were strong players playing. But Vichy didn't have anything like that, and he still managed. And this was before the internet also. Nowadays, if some kid gets Grandmaster at 15, if they have like so much information access, it's just not the same thing that Vichy, he got like a world championship match against Kasparov when he was 22 or something like that. So very, very impressive. And some people have said that it was bad for Anand to have the match in India because there was like lot of press, lots of media, and so on. And I live in Sweden, and I of course speak and understand Norwegian, at least understand it perfectly. And there has also been, Magnus is like, when he got world champion here, he became like a big celebrity. He's like, they treat him like one of the most famous Norwegian. He's up there with Jens Stoltenberg, who's the leader of NATO, and the best football players and skiers and runners and like that. He's one of these guys that the Norwegian people really admire. Everyone in Norway knows about him, and so it might have been some kind of an advantage that the match was played in India and not in Norway for Magnus. But I think even if it was be played in Norway and Magnus would have got more media attention and questions and stuff like that, I think he still would have made it here, because he's just a very, very good and professional chess player. He never is any nervous, and he's just complete confident in his ability to play perfect chess. Anand, he as I said, he got that chance to play Kasparov in the early 90s, but Kasparov won that match. Anand played well. It started with like 10 draws, then Anand won a game, and then he basically collapsed, and Kasparov won like 6 games and the match. And then Anand never got to another World Championship match. It was other players like I think Short got a match, and then of course Kramnik. He got a match where he defeated Kasparov and became world champion, and then Kramnik defended his match, his world championship title against some players, and then Anand managed to get a new match and he defeated Kramnik maybe in 2007, something like that, and then he won one more match against Kramnik, I think, and then he won against Gelfand, and now it's time for him to defend his title, maybe the fourth time here against Magnus. But as I've looked at all the games in the match before I made this video, and it looks to me like the confident play style that Anand had, even when he was playing Kasparov like 20 years ago, and especially when he won the title against Kramnik. In that match, I've seen there is a very good YouTube series on that match on Chess24 where Jon Gustafsson, he's in the middle, and Peter Nielsen, who was Anand's second, is commentating from Anand's side, and Laurent Fressinet, who was the second of Kramnik, is commentating from Kramnik's perspective. And Anand played very, very sharp openings there. He played the semi-Slav for the first time in his life, and he had great results because he just played the most sharp opening possible, because Peter had realized that Anand's strength versus Kramnik, it's in tactics. It was in tactical position Anand could outcalculate Kramnik, but if it would have been positional battles, like then Kramnik would win. Kramnik even beat Kasparov when it came to positional play, because Kasparov never got going in that match. We just played against the Berlin whole match, and Kramnik equalized without any problems. And here, as we will see, in my opinion, in this match, Anand plays too carefully. He needs to try to attack Magnus. We will see that in many games here that as they say here, the match started in a timid tone, and Magnus was playing quite timid, but as we will see, when Magnus takes the advantage, Anand keeps playing too timid, basically. So, and I think that was because of some kind of psychological, like Magnus had defeated Anand. We have looked at a lot of games where Magnus already defeated Anand, and he has like established some kind of psychological advantage over Anand. So maybe it would have been good for Anand to maybe speak to sports psychologist and trying to like turn around his thinking patterns to become a more optimistic player. Would have been something that I don't know if Anand or his team thinks about that, but it seems like it was some kind of a psychological thing here that made Anand play worse than usual in this match. So let's look at the timid start here. First game is Magnus is white, and for some reason they start with a quick draw, which I don't really understand. Magnus is white and he plays just something completely non-theoretical here. He just this opening is called the it's basically the Grünfeld with c6 here, and it's just quite a careful. And here they are taking like a repetition, so that's of course an advantage, because being white in chess is an advantage. So this is of course good for Anand to get a quick draw here. And then in next game there's also quite a quick draw here, and strangely enough Magnus is playing a knight f3, and I guess that's to get out of the book. And it looks like because like Anand plays like that, it looks like maybe Grünfeld will be Anand's choice against d4 and c4 and so on. And here Anand starts with e4, and then strangely enough Magnus defense with the Caro-Kann defense, and that's pretty strange because I don't think Magnus ever played the Caro-Kann, so this must have been a complete surprise for Anand. Magnus played a lot of risky openings, the Dragon and the French, for example, is opening that he played just before that, but he gave up those openings. And now when he played, of course, a lot of Spanish and Sveshnikov Sicilians, those are probably his main weapons. But here he's going for the Caro-Kann defense, and we will see here that Anand is also playing the classical main line here, and yeah, it will be a relatively short game here, I guess. I'm just gonna guess that all of this is something that was known to Carlsen, maybe that this is a way to play and equalize here. And here Anand forces a draw, just like he did in the first game. He also forced a quick draw here. Black's king basically has to go between g8 and h7 to defend the pawns, because here bishop take h6 is a threat, and now the pawn f7 is threatened, so he has to go back. So 2 quick draws, and I guess Anand was a little bit surprised because of Magnus playing the Caro-Kann, which is not an opening that he never played before. Okay, so next game is the first game that we're gonna do a more serious study here, and it's the third game, and this is the first real game, I would say, of the match. So now Magnus is white, and he does again. It starts exactly like before, and Magnus is playing something on theoretical, and this d5 followed by g6, it's a clear indication that Anand had prepared to play maybe a Grünfeld as a main weapon. So they are starting the game like this, and now it looks a lot like a Sicilian with colors reversed. It looks a lot like Magnus is playing black in a Dragon Sicilian here, and as you can see, the computer already like black here. But it didn't really like knight e4. He thought that was unnecessary exchanges here, and bishop e6 would have been a stronger move for Anand. And maybe here, like, Anand should be comfortable of the opening. He's like half a pawn ahead already, and but instead, being black, I think he maybe went into the old thinking that I'm black, it's good with a draw. So he already starts to go for simplification, and he loses his opening advantage here. So here Magnus played that one. Apparently a4 was correct, because now black could play a5 apparently, or this one. So the computer still likes black a bit because of the 2 bishops, but it looks relatively even here. So why isn't f5 good here? Then maybe take here. I see, the queen is getting trapped here. So that's the problem. Okay, so Magnus probably saw that f5 isn't very good here, and Anand also. So this is a typical tabia of the Dragon, but its colors reversed, and it's like very equal position here. And both players are playing good, strong moves here. And this is, I kind of like this maneuver here with the queen here, like you see, like it's kind of weird that Magnus was forced to go back. But there is sometimes in the accelerated dragon, let's imagine white's queen is on a4, then sometimes white's rook goes to rook f to c1, and then king here, and then the queen goes back to that. So it's not completely ridiculous. Sometimes the queen ends up there, so it might look ridiculous, but I've seen that maneuver before actually, and I'm sure Magnus also, because he is just his memory is just 1000 times better than mine. Okay, so the way black can win here is of course if he can start push pawns and create a passer here, and the way white sometimes can win is if he managed maybe to trade a bishop and gets position where this bishop is very bad. It's no risk now for black, but there can be situations where this bishop is just very bad and knight is good and white can win an endgame. So let's see what happens here. So here, interestingly, Magnus decides to open the position a bit. And it looks like Anand could win a pawn here. Why didn't he take that pawn? Okay, he would probably go here. This one is threatened now, but he can defend it. Okay, and then maybe here. That's also quite a nice queen sack here. Yeah, this would have been awesome if Anand would find this queen sack here. He's just two very strong bishop and this b pawn. I actually think it looks good. The computer says it's even because white might be able to get counterplay here on the queen side, but positionally it looks quite nice for black with the bishops and the b pawn. But of course, only chance for white is this one, and try to get some kind of counterplay here on maybe drawing checks here. So that would have been interesting. So it's quite strange that Anand didn't take there, and it might be explained by his, as the article they call it, Anand's timid mindset in this match. So he does a more safe move instead of taking the pawn. He does a more safe move here, bishop d4. And then c4 and take here. Now it's opposite colored bishops, so which increases the likeliness for draw, but it also makes so that attacks are stronger. So for example, this pawn and maybe this pawn, because it's getting pinned, if black could attack those, black could win. And of course if white could attack here somewhere with the bishop, then white could have good chances to win. And here Magnus does correctly. He doesn't allow this simplification here. He wants to keep the bishop when going here. And now Anand is 2 pawns up, but because opposite colored bishops, it's the computer thinks that the game is equal, because there are some counterplay possibilities here, and also it's hard to get this pawn to queen because of this. But still, maybe a little bit too timid again. Anand going for exchanges here, and I even gives up his bishop here to get the queen to safety. So maybe Anand could have tried to win a little bit more here, but he seems like he's satisfied with draw here, and now of course it's a draw position. So that's the first game, and I could just do a little bit of a recap here. Now, the prize found is 2.6 million euros, so I'm just gonna guess that that's a lot of money in India. You could probably buy a palace for that kind of money in India. And it's took place at this hotel building. Looks like a very nice hotel, 5-star luxury hotel. Very, very nice hotel. And the time control was 120 minutes for 40 moves, 60 minutes for moves 41 to 60, and 15 minutes for the rest, with an increment starting after move 61. So because there is no increment from the start, there is possibility for big time trouble mistakes, even if both Carlsen and Anand are quick players that doesn't get into time trouble. So and also I said about the seconds here. So Peter Nilsson, Anand's long-time trainer, he has switched to train Carlsen, but he agreed to not be part of this match. But in the next match between, then of course he's helping Carlsen. And Anand seconds are Wojtaszek, Ganguly, Sasikiran and Leko, and Carlsen's were Hammer, Nepomniachtchi, Fressinet and Elyanov. The most interesting, of course, that Nepomniachtchi is big rival from all the US tournaments, and who he will play World Championship matches against later is here his second. So thanks for watching. So it's the 3 first games started in a draw, which is good for both players.